Alrighty, folks, you know I'm feeling great on Hump Day because we cashed in on 6 different premium selections on my premium site yesterday. We had the Knicks over in the Lakers game, Ole Miss, TCU, Marquette. We also hit a 2-team parlay in college basketball. And the only way you could have accessed all those winners is to join my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. Chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on the free video and what I do on my premium site. Well, what I do here on the free video is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. What I do on my premium site is, well, I actually share with you which one of these free plays on this video that I actually like the best. And if you don't need an all-access pass, but maybe you could use like 2 premium picks a day, you may want to think about signing up for my extra daily pick. It gives you a premium selection of mine every single day for the next 30 days, and as an added bonus, you also get access to my daily best play every single day during that time frame absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. So essentially, you're getting 2 premium selections of mine every single day for the next month. The math works out to be just 9 cents a day. I'm also 5-0 my last 5 extra daily picks in that package alone. 2-0 my last 2 underdog tier package plays. And finally, folks, I'm 2-0 my last couple of crowd pleaser teasers. And the good news is I have plays going off in all of those memberships here today, and they're all included with your purchase of the Chairman package. The site is patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Bulls at the Hornets, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Chicago is -4, totals 216. Now, the Bulls covered the point spread in 4 out of their last 6, and they've been pretty dominant over Charlotte in recent gatherings. Out of their last 10 contests against Charlotte, the Bulls got the W 8 times. They also held the Hornets to just 105 points a game during that time frame. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. And that's really been the strength of the Chicago club this season, their defensive play. These guys are in the top 5 in the league in field goals allowed per contest. Alex Caruso leads the roster in steals and blocks. Andre Drummond, he's got the second most steals himself. And they're taking on a Charlotte team who's on a 4-game skid, and they failed to cover in 8 out of their last 10. And out of 22 total contests in the Spectrum Center this year, the Hornets got the W in only a handful of those games. They averaged just 108 points a night in front of their own crowd. JT Thor makes just 35% of his attempts from the field. Cody Martin's making only 32% of his 3 balls. Now, injury-wise, Lowry, Hayward, and Williams are out. LaMelo Ball is doubtful. Meanwhile, for Chicago, Levine, Craig, and Williams are out for them. Dale and Terry's day-to-day. The Bulls saw overs recently against the likes of the Lakers, Grizzlies, and Spurs. Meanwhile, the Hornets saw 5 out of their last 8 get over the total themselves. Give me the Bulls -4 over 216. Next contest, Pistons, Cavaliers, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Cleveland's -13, totals 230.5. And even though this is a fairly big number, the Cavs have been dominant against the Pistons recently. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10, and they held the Pistons to just 96 points a game in those meetings. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. And I'll tell you, that's not overly surprising because the Cavs' strength this year has been their defensive play. They're allowing fewer field goals a game on D than any other roster besides one. Donovan Mitchell leads the lineup in steals. Evan Mobley's got the most blocks. And they're facing a Detroit squad who lost 19 of 21 in their travels. They're currently making just 10 three-pointers a game. That's actually second worst in the entire league. And out of those 21 road games I just mentioned, The Pistons gave up a ton of points. They allowed 125 points a night in those road trips. Now, injury-wise, Stewart's out. Cunningham's questionable. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, they're mostly healthy except for Ty Jerome. He's still battling that ankle. 8 out of the Cavs' last 10 outings fell under the line. They're also 70% to the under in their divisional games. Now, Detroit saw unders in 7 out of their last 10 themselves. Give me Cleveland minus 13, under 230.5. Next matchup, Clippers, Wizards, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The LA Clippers are minus 12.5, totals 236 and a hook. And as good as the Clippers have been, well, this is it's a rather large number for a West Coast road team. They also failed to cover recently against the likes of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Toronto back on the 10th. And even though there's not a ton to nitpick when it comes to the Clippers, my only issue is their ability to cover the number. They're covering in just 50% of their contests on the road this year. Meanwhile, for Washington, these guys have no issue getting to the basket at home. They're in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage on their own court. Now, as a team, the Wizards covered the point spread in 6 out of their last 10. Covers against the likes of Denver, New York, and Atlanta. Kyle Kuzma leads the roster in scoring. Tyus Jones is drilling 41% of his long balls. When it comes to the injury list, Shamet and Livers are out for Washington. Zubac and Diabate inactive for Los Angeles. Now, the Clippers saw overs in 6 out of their last 10. Meanwhile, the Wizards, they've gone 12-9 to the over in the Capital One Arena. Give me Washington plus 12.5. Over 236 and a hook. Next game, Kings Heat, 7:30 Eastern start time. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. Miami's minus 2, totals 231. For a team that's favored by a bucket, the Heat's been horrible lately. They're currently on a 7-game losing streak, and they failed to cover in every one of those losses. And a big problem for Miami this season has been offensive production. Or lack thereof, however you want to look at it. The Heat's second to last in field goals made per game. Now, when it comes to scoring late, well, Miami does not do much of that either. These guys average fewer fourth-quarter points than any other roster besides one. Kyle Lowry shoots just 42% from the field. Kevin Love shooting just 32% from beyond the arc. They're facing a Sacramento team who won their last 4 straight. And they certainly do a nice job of shooting the basketball. Sacramento is making 15 three-pointers a game. And no real surprise here, they're in the top 5 in offensive field goals per contest. De'Aaron Fox scores a team-high 27.5 points per night. Domantas Sabonis makes 44% of his three-pointers. When it comes to grabbing rebounds, Sabonis is currently the NBA leader in boards per game. Now, injury-wise, Duncan Robinson's been scratched for Miami. When it comes to the total, the Heat saw overs in 2 out of their last 3. Overs against the likes of the Knicks and Celtics. Meanwhile, the Kings are 9-5 to the over against the Western Conference. Give me Sacramento plus 2, over 231. Next game, Mavs, T-Wolves, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Minnesota's minus 13, totals 220.5. Now, Minnesota's been insanely tough to score against in the Target Center. They're allowing a league-low 103 points a night in their own arena. And out of 21 contests in front of their own crowd, the T-Wolves currently have a win percentage of .810. Rudy Gobert leads the roster in blocks and rebounds. Anthony Edwards has the most steals. And unfortunately for Dallas, they're going to work here tonight without their top 2 scorers. Kyrie and Luka are both scratched for tonight's contest. And a big weakness for Dallas this year has been rebounding. They're currently in the bottom 5 in the West in offensive boards. Now, defensively, they're in the bottom 3 in the entire league in defensive rebounds per game. And when it comes to the injury list, Irving, Doncic, and Lively are out. Jones and Exum are doubtful. Meanwhile, for Minnesota on the other side, Mike Conley is day-to-day. Jalen Clark's inactive. Now, the T-Wolves lost their last 4 straight all stayed under the number, 7-3 to the under in their last 10. And in their in-conference home games this year, well, the under cashed in nearly 70% of those games. Meanwhile, Dallas saw unders in 6 out of their last 10. Give me Minnesota minus 13, under 220.5. Next contest, Nuggets Thunder. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Oklahoma City's -1, totals 227. Now, I'll tell you what, this injury report is making this game very tricky to handicap. Both teams' top scorers are currently listed as questionable. That's Jokic for the Nuggets, Gilgeous-Alexander for Oklahoma City. Now, there's also some negative qualities that resonate with both teams. For OKC, they've lost their last 2 straight, and they've been one of the worst rebounding teams in the West. Meanwhile, for Denver on the other side, they play their worst basketball on the road. They're just 5-7 against Western Conference opponents away from home. As a matter of fact, the Nuggets are a bottom 5 point-producing team on the road in the West. Now, total-wise, more conflicting factors there as well. The Nuggets are currently 16-9 to the under in their road trips, but OKC on the other side, they've seen the overcash in 13 contests on their own court. So if you want to see whether we're making a play on the money line total or against the point spread in this one, this game's being featured as my extra daily pick on my premium site. But as far as making a free pick, no free pick. Next game, Pelicans-Rockets, 8 o'clock East. The Pelicans are -3, totals 232. And even though the Pels are favored by a bucket on the road here, they've certainly had a rough couple of weeks. They lost 4 out of their last 5. They're having some problems playing defense late. New Orleans is in the bottom 10 in fourth quarter points allowed on the road. And unfortunately for them, that's when the Rockets do the majority of their scoring. Houston's a top 10 fourth quarter scoring team at home. And out of 25 contests in the Toyota Center, the Rockets have posted a record of 17-8. Alpi Sengun leads the program in scoring. Jalen Green's second on the roster in points. But the real strength of this Houston franchise this year has been their defensive play. These guys are in the top 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, injury-wise, Tari Eason's still out for Houston. Herbert Jones is questionable for the Pels. New Orleans saw unders in 7 out of their last 10 gatherings with Houston. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Now, the Rockets saw unders recently against the likes of the Nets, Celtics, and Knicks. Give me Houston +3, under 232. Next contest, Magic Spurs, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Orlando's -4, totals 229. Now, the Magic covered the number in 5 out of their last 8. Covers against the likes of Dallas, Phoenix, and Miami. And when it comes to defensive play, the Magic's been tough to score against late. They're in the top 5 in second-half points allowed. And when it comes to grabbing boards, they're also in the top 3 in the East in defensive rebounding per contest. Paolo Banchero leads the roster in boards per game, club leader in scoring. And when it comes to offensive production, Wendell Carter Jr. is shooting over 42% from three-land. Now, they're facing a Spurs club on the other side of things who lost 7 out of their last 10. And they've certainly given up a whole bunch of points in the process. Out of 23 contests on their own court, the Spurs got the W only 5 times. They're allowing over 122 points a night in those home games. Now, injury-wise, Collins and Johnson are questionable for San Antonio. Gary Harris is out for Orlando. The Magic saw overs in 3 out of their last 4. Overs against the likes of Dallas, Memphis, and Cleveland. They're also 7-4 to the over in their out-of-conference road games. Now, the Spurs have gone 15-8 to the over as the home team. Give me the Magic -4, over 229. Next contest, it is going to be Suns-Nets, 8:30 Eastern start time. Phoenix is -3, totals 233. Now, the Suns got the W in 8 out of their last 10. They're playing some pretty good basketball against the East. They've got a .625 win percentage in those out-of-conference games. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, Not a lot of teams are doing it better on D than Phoenix. These guys are in the top 3 in defensive boards per game. Jusuf Nurkic leads the roster in rebounds, second in blocks. And speaking of blocks, KD leads the club in that particular category. He also makes 45% of his three-pointers on offense. They're facing a Brooklyn team who lost 7 out of their last 10, just 30% against the number during that time frame. And out of 19 contests against the West, the Nets got the W only 6 times. They're one of the worst field goal shooting teams in the game. Brooklyn's currently in the bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage. Now, injury-wise, Finney-Smith, Sharp, and Whitehead are out. Meanwhile, for Phoenix, Allen and Ball are questionable. The Suns saw overs recently against the likes of the Pacers and Blazers. Meanwhile, the Nets saw 4 out of their last 7 out-of-conference home games get over the number. Give me Phoenix -3 over 233. And with that, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Bucks-Blazers game, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Milwaukee's -11 totals 237. For a team laying double digits on the road here, the Bucks have certainly had a tough time covering the point spread recently. They failed to cover in 7 out of their last 9. And out of 21 contests away from the Fiserv, the Bucks are covering in only 38% of those games. And obviously a big issue for Milwaukee has been their defensive play. These guys allow 121 points a night in their travels. And as bad as Portland's been this season, well, they've done a nice job covering the number over the past handful of weeks. They're 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. And they're one of the better free throw shooting teams in the game. Portland's currently in the top 10 in the league in offensive free throw percentage. Anthony Simons leads the roster in scoring. Jeremy Grant shoots 40% from long range. When it comes to the injury list, Brown and Sharp are still out for Portland. Now, total-wise, the Blazers went 6-3 to the under in their last 9. Unders against the likes of the Bulls, Spurs, and Thunder. And out of 15 contests against the Eastern Conference, the under cashed in 80% of those games. Now, Milwaukee saw their last 3 straight out-of-conference road games stay under the line themselves. Give me the Blazers +11, under 237. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Bulls -4 over 216. Cavaliers -13 under 230.5. Wizards +12.5 over 236 and a hook. I'm 5-0 my last 5 extra daily picks on my premium site. The link is in my bio. Sacramento +2 over 231. Minnesota -13 under 220.5. I have no free pick available for you in the Nuggets Thunder game. Houston +3 under 232. Magic -4 over 229. Suns -3 over 233. With my next and final free pick, give me the Blazers +11 under 237. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that chairman membership, it's a full access, all-inclusive package. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. That's it, folks. Happy hump day to you. Happy Wednesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.